Today we're going to talk about Homework 2 Part B. Your job is to write a program that will calculate the minimum and maximum values for data types of short, int, long, and float. Do not use built-in constants. So I'm going to walk you through how we need to do this. You need to declare a variable and you're going to set a value for each variable type. Do not hard code the values like the example here I have in red. You want to test the min and max values by adding and subtracting 1, like this example here. Then you need to look at what happens when you go past the min and max and provide some comments for me in your program for each data type. This will be worth 25 points if you do not provide comments or you provide incorrect answers. So let's look at this example here. You are going to declare your variables. You're going to set a minimum, set a maximum value, and then you're going to do a print of the minimum and maximum values. And notice how I have these lines here. So when we start out, we're going to have the min and max, and then you're going to confirm by adding and subtracting 1. And right here, you're going to print them out. So you can go out to the internet and look at Java data types, and you'll find something like this. So notice if you are dealing with a short, here's your minimum and maximum range. If you move up to an int, it's going to be bigger, and you go to long, so on and so forth. So this is a nice chart that you can use for your program. Now, let's start out with a short example. We are going to initialize the variables here, declare initialize to 0, and then set up your min, set up your max. Here's your example right here with the Java data types. And then provide some code to print out the min and max values and do a confirmation by subtracting and adding 1. Provide your printouts. Notice how we're using the escape characters tab and new line. Right here, your \t and your \n. Now let's move on to integer. And we're going to see what happens when we loop around past the minimum and maximum. This looks just like the short, except we are using different variable names and we are setting different minimum and maximums based on what we have here in our range. We're going to do the same thing, print the minimum, maximum, and then we are going to do the confirmation by adding and subtracting 1. Let's move on to the long. You guys see the trend here? So now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to declare our variable. We're going to set the min. We're going to set the max. Then we're going to print the min and print the max and loop around by adding and subtracting 1 and provide that confirmation output. And I'm not going to do the float example. I will let you figure that one out on your own. But at the end of the day, here are your results if you follow the template that I provided online. Okay, now let's jump over and look at Eclipse. I provided a starter program for you on Blackboard. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy this code, and the name of it is starter HW2B. I'm going to jump over here to my week 2 project and say new class, and I'm going to give it the exact same name, starter HW2B, and I can select this, select that, and hit finish. So now we have our comments here, and I'm going to come over here again. And I am just going to copy this in. Just make that bigger. And I am going to save all and run. Now when I run this, you're going to see something like that. So you notice when I take my minimum value and subtract 1 from it, it loops back around to 32767. If I take my maximum, 32767, and I add 1 to it, it goes back to negative 32768. So you need to follow through and do this for all the data types in the homework assignment. Now I want to point something out. If you want to change the name of this program, all you need to do is right-click on the class name, and you want to select Refactor. Then you want to select Rename, and you can give it your C Homework 2B name. And update references and click Finish. And click Finish. And now, there you go. You have your new name. And be sure to go back and clean up your comments. Use proper documentation inside the code. And provide some additional notes about what happens when you reach the minimum and maximum limits. Thanks, and see you next time.